In the quiet town of Alcolu, South Carolina, in the spring of 1944, life moved at a slow pace. This was a time when segregation was deeply rooted in the fabric of American society. Black and white families lived in the same town, but they lived in very different worlds. For the black families, there was the constant shadow of racism, poverty, and fear. For the white families, there was privilege, control, and unquestioned authority. And it was in this world that a tragedy unfolded, one that would shock the nation and leave a permanent stain on the justice system of the United States. At the center of this tragedy was a boy named George Stinney Jr. He was just 14 years old. George was the son of a poor African-American family. He was small, barely 5 feet tall, weighing only 40 kilograms. He loved to play with his siblings and help his father on the farm. He was a child like any other, innocent, curious, and full of life. But in 1944, George would become the youngest person executed in the United States in the 20th century. His case remains one of the most haunting examples of racial injustice in American history. It began on March 23, 1944. 2 white girls, 11-year-old Betty June Binnicker and 7-year-old Mary Emittens, were riding their bicycles in Alcolu. They were looking for wildflowers and passed by the Stinney home. They asked George and his little sister, Catherine, if they knew where to find some. That was the last time the girls were seen alive. Hours later, panic spread through the town when the girls did not return home. A search party was organized, and later that evening, the bodies of the 2 girls were found in a ditch. They had been brutally attacked. Betty June suffered severe head injuries, and Mary Emma was also fatally struck. Their murders sent shockwaves through the small community. Almost immediately, suspicion fell on George Stinney. Why? Because he was the last person seen speaking to the girls. The fact that he was black and the girls were white sealed his fate in the eyes of the authorities. Within hours of discovering the bodies, George was arrested. George's arrest was swift, brutal, and without proper investigation. There was no physical evidence linking him to the crime. There were no witnesses who saw him commit it. Yet, the police claimed he confessed. According to them, George admitted to killing the girls after they tried to resist his advances. But George's family and supporters have always maintained that the confession was forced. He was interrogated alone, without a lawyer, without his parents, and without any protection. Imagine a 14-year-old boy